come along. Not a lot of audio to go with this. Some headphones off to the side where the audio is coming from. It's handy for the audio cues in online shooters. You need to be able to hear when people are sneaking around behind you. But before we jump into an online shooter, in particular Battlefield 6, let's do what you need to do before you fire up your online shooter, and that's warm up your fingers. So this is Typing of the Dead Overkill. It actually ran better on the original, what was it? It was a Sega, it was the short-lived one, the Dreamcast. I can't do multiple things at once, it would appear. And yeah, I used to run this game on the Dreamcast. There was a keyboard on that one. And this was one of the best games. It was a Japanese import for me. And it didn't use words that made any sense to me. As a typing tutor, it was just like random letters, arguably, which made it pretty good. But this one here uses a lot of, some of it's not really politically correct words, you could argue. It's kind of fun as a typing tutor. It's probably like the R18 plus typing tutor, you know, like it's not. Anyway, what am I doing? Filigree. It's fun because it comes up with words that you never actually type in ever on a computer. It makes you think. But yeah, look, this is a good one for getting your keyboard practice up. And then if you've got a run around corridors game, you can get your mouse calibration up and running. So let me just come out of Typing of the Dead. Okay, so for me, a good run around the corridor game is Ziggurat. Alright, so you just run around. And it's kind of old school, plays like the early 90s, like Heretic and Hexen and Quake type games. What am I doing? Missing some doors. Okay. But yeah, you play your offline shooter before you play your online shooter. And definitely easier with headphones. But yeah, just advantageous to your teammates. If you're playing a game like Battlefield, if you're playing it properly, you should be using like your spot key. It's Q by default. And that just means if you see someone but don't get a chance to really hurt them, or don't want to reveal your location, you can spot them and they'll appear on the map for your teammates. Right, Battlefield's that type of game. But like when I come into Battlefield, I won't be coming in where the action is. I'll be coming in halfway through a game, joining in, and whilst we're doing this as a graphics test to see if the little, in this case it's a Legion Go, but the Ryzen Z1 Extreme chipset, basically it's under spec, it doesn't meet the minimum requirements for Battlefield. And so just getting it running is a bit of a feat. It's like I'm kind of happy to put on video. But when we join the game, it'll probably be in the middle of combat, and whilst I could spawn in on a teammate, that would be less than ideal, because I'm going to perish straight away. I'm going to be unfamiliar with the level, I'm going to be unfamiliar with my weapons or my build, and whilst it would be a good graphics test to be in the middle of the middle of fire, it'd just be irresponsible to my teammates, I guess, to be useless. But yeah, good old Ziggurat. Chance to practice a little bit of shooting, as might be demanded by your online shooter. Run around a bit, practice your circle strafing and your dodging and whatever else, get your jumps on. And then once you're all comfortable and happy with your mouse and your keyboard, everything's good to go, you can close out the practice games and get into the real thing. Alright, so this might take a moment to load up. Again, we're running this on a Legion Go, so Legion Go is under-spec'd for this game. I think I haven't got enough system RAM, I haven't got enough VRAM. Pardon me, my video card is below specification. And I think I'm running side-loaded drivers from the Asus ROG, dated maybe a month ago. And obviously I'm not giving that guide to anyone. I don't want to hurt anyone's machines. Or put people in a situation where they feel like they have to reinstall Windows just to get basic controls on their computer again that they had last week. Right, now hopefully I've framed the screen up fairly well there. I've come in already and turned on all the measurement tools. So in the bottom left hand corner of the screen there, it should show things like frame rate, CPU usage, etc. I've turned the hyper-threading off on this, so it's just in 8-core mode. I normally run at 6-core mode. It's probably tuned to use 27 watts. We are on wall power at the moment, that's true. So it can run a fair bit quicker. I could put a significant amount more voltage into it to get it up and running. I think the play button's down here, right, hidden under all their metrics. You can imagine that a few that have come in, put the game on, turn the metrics on, and then go, where's the start button? It's right underneath the metrics. Anyway, it should take a moment to get connected. We're connecting through a mobile phone, and we'll see how this runs. So at the moment it's saying the frame rate count is saying about 50 frames a second here on the menu. It does have an upscaling turned on, and it's set to render at the native resolution of the monitor, which is 4K. But it's set to render it essentially half that and then sort of double up to it. And then I've set the downscaling on to, again, drop to about half. So I'm expecting it's running at a quarter 4K resolution, which sounds like about half a megapixel per frame. And so no frame generation, right? That was one of the options in the menu I could turn on, but that does add latency. I've turned the VSync off, but other than that, it is all just ultra low details, as low as they can be set. And the game actually defaulted to balanced. The game wanted to turn things up, but just in an effort to see what this chipset can do with the game, I've just turned everything to low. And I had a blast before I was in the game, and it was just epic. It was technically playable. See, I shouldn't spawn here, that high contention spot. Tell you what, let's come in. Okay, so it's running a little bit slower than it was before. I'm seeing about 15 frames a second. Yeah, look, this is very poor compared to what I was getting before. This suggests to me I've run out of VRAM, essentially, and we've hit a real wall. Now the actual frame rate it's saying is about 50 on the in-game metrics, but something went wrong there. I think my machine just rebooted. Oh, beautiful. Okay, good. Let's make use of that. So I'm holding down the volume up. That should get me into the BIOS on startup. Oh, I might have missed it. Don't know. Okay, so let's do a few things. I'm going to briefly disconnect the monitor. Turn the Lego on. Try to get it back in front of the screen. Okay, so I'm just going to jump by the BIOS for a second. Just make sure that the configuration here. Yeah, so it had forgotten my 6 gig of VRAM setting. It had actually down-tuned itself to only 3 gig of VRAM. I believe we should be giving it 6 gig of VRAM, but at the very least 4. And the reason I say that is the minimum video card for the game, as set by the Electronic Arts or or dice, is a card with 6 gig of VRAM. So it would make sense that the smallest texture pack size is up around that. And that's less than an Xbox Series S has, and that would be the lowest on the market. So chances are 6 gig is the VRAM amount to have. And booting up now. Alright, so I'm going to put that back down. I've just plugged a USB-C cable into the monitor. There is a power cable going in the bottom of that just to give it wall power. And whilst, as I said, the game before was reporting it was doing 50 frames a second, which is in alignment with what I was seeing earlier. It was hovering in that ballpark. But it was rendering at what felt like 4 or 10. So definitely something had gone wrong. But we'll give it another chance. And apologies, just waking up Bluetooth. Yeah, so we'll give it another chance. That experience in the whole 10 seconds it was running is not what I typically. It's not what I've seen previously. So something went wrong then. But hopefully this video is recording long enough that we can actually get some footage showing things as working. All right. Nice having large moments of silence. Where else in your life do you have large moments of silence like this? Under headphones on the bus, and you pause a song, you left the noise cancelling on, maybe. Okay. So it does take a long time to load. Now, if we jump into the task manager, something we shouldn't be doing, right? On a machine that's got 16 gigabytes of RAM total, and then lops, for example, 6 gig off for the video card, and only leaves you with 10 gig of system RAM, it's too little to run this game. So in this case, I've only trimmed 4 gig of VRAM off. I'm leaving myself 12 gig of system RAM. There is, of course, a page file or things to boost that up in effective size. But it's fair to say we're going to run out of resources when trying to run this game. But if we spread our resources as thinly as possible, but allocate them as balanced as possible, we should be able to get some performance. And yeah, as I was saying earlier today, I was having a fun old time, smooth as, very little hiccups in the game. And it was only after I played for long enough to deem, okay, this is playable, that I thought, okay, it's responsible to share that information and put it out there, and hence the video. But I had hoped to be able to record one long session with it where it all just worked. And I guess capturing the real PC experience is anything but. I mean, if you want to play a game smoothly, you buy it on console. It works every time, works flawlessly every time. For the same cost as a PC handheld, you can get a PlayStation Pro and a PS Portal. If it wasn't an online shooter where latency matters, like that would actually be a pretty good investment. Certainly one of the cheapest ways to play and play it at the highest level, highest quality level. Alright, so second verse, same as the first. Hopefully not. Okay. So it is suggesting very low frame rates, but it now looks like it's actually rendering it at 4K. Dare I say, the game glitching or the system just rebooting the way it did, it looks like it might have changed a couple of settings. Let's have a look. Oh, I don't know if you got my cat's head there in front of the screen. She does like to certainly choose right in front of the screen. Okay, so it's saying 100 frames a second. Almost want to put a limiter on, but it looks like it's gone back into that slow motion mode again. Yep. So yeah, I don't know if it's this map. Not to say it's the same map as I was just running. But the interface is saying it's got 50 frames. But you can see it's just rendering it at like 5 frames or 10 frames or something. Yeah, no, this is unplayable. Okay, so it's saying my GPU is only half used. Let's see what's going on. Okay. Wow, CPU not used very much at all. GPU, for some reason, not used very much at all. It's like we're almost power profiling here. See what I can do about that. Well, it's not responding quickly. It does. It feels like it's in the wrong power profile. Ah, beautiful. Here we go. So no, that is set correctly. By the looks of it. Performance, right, everything has kind of... Oh, it just knocked it down a few points. That was really weird. Right as I was coming out of that screen, it just changed it up. But it is weird. It's like at a system level, the machine is just being held back hard. And versus running it earlier today, where it ran smoothly, and like these frames here indicate, like 50 frames a second, fairly consistently, it was running really well. Oh, I can't even get it to be controllable. Oh my lord. Right, yeah, see that speed? Limited at 550 megahertz. It's something in Windows is not running in dedicated or focused mode. And sadly, there's no way to minimise it anymore, which is really what I want to do right now, so I can control this front end interface. Right, it's saying 40 frames a second. There we go. So once Windows got out of the way with it trying to auto assist with its power plan and putting me in some low power mode, once I reminded it I'm trying to game and I really want to play this game in performance mode, it all just kicked back into gear. And so we're back up at 50 frames a second, not 5, and the game is working. But Windows is an antagonistic platform. I've been fighting all morning just to get sound. I've been fighting all morning just to do basic things because a recent Windows update installed itself, and then a preview build dated much older than that update then tried to install itself, essentially installing then the broken versions, no doubt, of a whole bunch of concepts that were coming to Windows at the end of last year. And there's quite a lot of talk online about that level of brokenness. But look, what we are experiencing here is a game that is running at a reasonable frame rate. Right? You could play this. And again, these little low-end PC handhelds that don't even have a dedicated video chip are so far below the minimum spec to play this game. Now, I'm not going to say you'll get a perfect experience, and nor would I say this is an ideal experience. But the fact is, it does work. It can be done. And I've not spent a couple of minutes tweaking. But not even configuring my buttons. So, with no ability to hear right now. Yeah, please don't judge the quality of this game by the way I'm playing it, that's for sure. Oh, and we've gone back to slow motion mode. So, look, there is a possibility that we're running out of RAM. If you run out of VRAM, this is the sort of frame rate difference I would expect. But it looks to me like it could be a thermal thing, that the device is getting warm, and then it's limiting itself. But having played it for a substantial amount of time and had none of these issues, and then just having Windows do this standard power plant stuff, where a quick investigation of the task manager shows that it's limiting the CPU to 0.5 gigahertz speed. Yep, there it is. So again, it's kicked into this crazy power plant. So the next thing to say is, oh, is it overheating? Let's take it off the charger. I have custom set it so that when it's on charger, it doesn't generate a lot of heat. Like, it doesn't try to charge the battery so much when you're in Windows and using it heavily. Wow, pulling power from the handheld just killed it. So yeah, Windows has just been really sick all morning. I mean, the device is warm, but it's not as hot as it has been. And I've got it sitting on a rubber ice cube tray, which is a funky shape, and it just allows air to get around all the different edges of it. And I had it screened down so that the fans could suck in. Arguably, they're sucking in from the back, which would have been facing up. So I think hot air rises. So I guess I was working against the thermal, the principles of. Oh, what? Gotta love Windows. There's an absolute lack of consistency in anything you do, to the point where it always just interrupts you enough to wreck productivity. And there's a lot of studies that say if you're interrupted for like 30 seconds, it can take you 5 minutes to get your train of thought back on. Or they actually say, I think it's 30 minutes. But I find that there's zero lack of consistency in the Windows platform, and there's zero lack of reliability. I wouldn't even trust it for gaming. And it's only because of novel things like we're doing now. that it's worth mucking around at all. But yeah, just a difference in rebooting between last night and today, having changed nothing, having not gone on the net. The amount of things that just changed the difference between two boots. But it was like the difference of losing all audio devices and having games that had audio not work with audio anymore. Losing the scaling on the fonts. You could be like, yeah, but you took a Windows update a week ago. It takes a week for the damage to get through. And it's like, yeah, pretty much. It's like they time bomb the rolling out of certain things, or the turning off of certain things, or the auto. And I can't say optimization. It's the opposite. You look at your power plan and you go in and you look at what your processor is configured to do. And the vast majority of gaming PCs on this planet have their CPUs limited to 70 or 80% speed in their power plant settings, in a high performance profile type thing, or even a custom power plan, and Windows will just override it the next day with its own settings. And unless your due diligence is such that you have a routine once a week, check around 30 settings on your computer to make sure that Microsoft hasn't reverted them to things that suits them better, chances are that the efficiencies in your machine just aren't. Some people are like, oh, PCs aren't frustrating. They work for me. And it's like, well, they work, but they don't work anywhere near the performance level that you're paying for. And when you look at how much you're paying to gain 10 or 20% speed year in after year out, and you look at the way that the market is deprecated to break the old machines, or to make them, their so-called long legs apparently just no longer have longevity, and there's this super need to all of a sudden buy something new again. It's basically non-stop and never-ending, when technically we don't need it. A computer from 20 years ago had enough grunt to view a web page and do whatever was needed. And you can say, oh no, but the web got heavy. It's like, no, the web got heavy on purpose. That was Microsoft burying competing phone ecosystems that had less memory, and getting them out of the market by using Java and all sorts of memory-heavy technologies. So the industry has been manipulated for 20, 30 years to keep generating the repurchasing of just pathetic equipment. I have to call it pathetic, because if you buy something that's high-end, they'll just firmware update it and turn off the aspects of it that are performant, so that cheaper parts can outpunch it. Right? That's my desktop rig just off to the side of this camera has a video card in it, more powerful than the performant consoles, like the Pro and the super powered consoles. And you could say, well, why aren't you gaming on that? And it's like, well, actually, I do my gaming as a PC tech of decades. I'd much rather game on console. It's something I've learnt in the last couple of years, because Windows 10 just became less and less ethical over time. And then when Win 11 came out, it was the writing was on the wall for the sorts of tricks that Microsoft are willing to do. Now, if anyone sees how smooth this has been my experience. Up until Windows has started toying with my power plan in-game, this here has been my experience the whole time. And given I'm not even hearing the fans fire up on that small portable, I do have to question what's happened to my power plan settings. Well, being shot from behind, I should have turned around. Oh, right, check your corners. There might be a tank in them if you haven't got your headphones on. Right, so we're running here at a really good clip. I mean, this is a game that technically doesn't run on this level of equipment. Well, it's, this equipment is well below minimum specification. And this game is very playable. But I haven't played Battlefield in years. I certainly haven't played on this keyboard or mouse. It's been that long. Even though this is ultra low settings for this game, if anyone was to compare what we're seeing graphically here versus Battlefield 1 or even Battlefield 5, this would not have been the ultra low preset in those games. This looks really nice. Looks a lot better than like any of the last generation console games. Alright. Oh, I think I just got run over by a tank. Anyway, we're getting a little bit dominated here. It's a bit unfair if I'm being dead weight for my team. I technically should put some headphones on. Oh, wrong. Oh, wrong. Oh, I'm about to go down. Oh, wrong. Okay, so the disadvantage of having a slower responding screen, of course, is it's milliseconds longer before I find out whether a target is a friendly or an enemy. But it's irrelevant. We're not watching me play the game to qualify or judge my game playing skills right now. But yeah, just seeing this game work, and it looks like, so long as my little mini isn't being Windows controlled to only run at 550 megahertz, something I've never seen previously, ever, not even once. It looks like it works all right. Wowzers. I mean, anyone watching this would be like, man, I never want this guy on my team, ever. It's like, yeah, fair enough. I'm tech demoing hardware. And if you haven't got your headphones on, you're not really playing seriously. You need the environmental awareness. So look, I'm going to give my team a chance to get back into the game by taking myself out of it. Just one more go. It's so addictive. So, look, I'd say this is a fairly good demonstration. Yes, this game hasn't quite come out yet. It is in a beta stage. I think this is probably the last official public beta prior to release. It must be very close. It's a fairly polished product. I mean, I've had a few little glitches in it, but I wouldn't say that's fair to judge, given my video card is running below the minimum RAM, my system is running below the minimum RAM. I'm not actually really running a video card. It's a graphics chip built into a budget CPU, and I'm currently running on about 40 watts of total power. So 1/5 of what a PlayStation uses when watching videos, and about 1/6 of what a PlayStation uses when playing games. So the fact that it is working this well at all is exceptional. Oh, wow. Okay. So, looking at these frame rates, I seem to be hovering up around the 48 frames a second. So with a variable sync monitor, as I say, I think this game is set at the moment to like some sort of a 4K. Now, so as you can see, low everything. And then I've got lots of scaling essentially on. So I am saying run it at full resolution, but run it at basically half of that. And whilst I haven't turned on the frame rate doubling, because it does add latency, I have turned on the upscaling of the output graphics. So whilst I'm expecting it's 2 lots of half of that, and then it's kind of guessing its way back up to what might be native, and it does that with whatever reserve video power is left. So if it's got any headroom, it will try to make the graphics look a lot sharper. But obviously it hasn't got any headroom, so the fact that the graphics are looking this sharp in the first instance, I honestly have a very hard time telling here the resolution. Now we can see the flicker on the grills of these aircon units. You can see a type of mire kicking in on these surfaces. There's technically a lot of clues to reveal that it is running at low res, but it looks amazing. Like it really does. And if this is ultra low settings, I mean, just look at that plastic bag in the bin, and the amount of triangles or polys it's made up out of. You know, there's no edges on it, and this is ultra low settings at ultra low res, arguably, and it looks all right. Anyway, I'd call that a win. Well wishes with. I hope this has been the evidence you might be needing to see in order to realise whether you might be able to take some of your gameplay on the road, or sometimes be able to, assist what your desktop PC does. You won't get quite the same level of quality, but it's something that might be better than a Nintendo Switch. There we go. Battlefield 6 running on a handheld. Well wishes with you.